So what am I going to take away from this today? The plan is next week is payday, which means I can get the polytunnel for the boat tent, which is great news. And perhaps that's what I'm lacking at the minute. I've got to a point where I've got myself into a cul-de-sac and I haven't planned my way out. But with this shelter, in goes the bits that I need with enough space, and I can build that boat. Whether I can get it out of the garden yet or not, I don't know. But that does mean I can still put it together, and I'll have an upgrade. I'll have the mirror, that ain't going anywhere, simply because of how versatile she is. It's just an absolute gem, this little boat. But that scamp, when she's afloat, that is going to give my wife and myself some impeccable rest and enjoyment. And I think I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna think about what it is that makes that list of ingredients accumulate to make such a nice break. You know, having that break. How long is it before we got 2 weeks to go? 2 weeks, we're on holiday. How long were we away for? We're away for 10 days. Yeah, 10 days are blessed. Yeah, lovely. And you go away and you have that, and everything's different. It's all a bit unfamiliar. Trying different foods, sleeping in a different bed, waking up at different times of day, or having a decent rest, having the freedom to do what you want. No stress, no panic. And then after 9 of those days, you start to think, I feel really refreshed and I'm looking forward to going home and seeing the house again, getting your own bed, and then back to the usual routine, back to normal. That's what I'm planning on working out. And what are there any other special sort of nooks and crannies and ingredients that I can add to that? We shall see. But that's interesting. That framework. Actually, when you think about it, or when I think about it, sorry, if you've got Michelin star restaurants, I've never been to one, but I've heard how they work it out. So you're looking at spending a lot of money. But what you do, you're getting this event. You get apparently in Bray, you've got the Fat Duck by Blumenthal, and I love the idea of how it's done. So you get a letter in the post, and it's like an invite, and you get all these like little Easter egg kind of things, like this is how you get here, and here's a few hints, and you get little tasty sort of morsels of snacks, little tastes of what you got to come. So you get the anticipation, and the whole meal starts not just on the day. It's the build up to it. So there's like the anticipation, and then you go for the meal, and then you have all these different experiences. And some people might think it's a bit pompous, but there's a lot of thought put into that. I like that. And I'm going to do something similar. I want to work out how I'm going to put those thoughts into these videos. I'm going to work out how I'm going to have my viewers and myself to look back on and go, this video is a little experience, and there's a connection. That's it. That's the whole thing. There's a connection to it. You feel connected. I feel that people, that holiday that I'm on about, that I went to on the Mediterranean for 2 weeks, there's an ownership. I feel like I own part of that holiday. That was the best holiday I've ever had. I'll always remember that. I'd love to go back to it, that kind of thing. But you feel like as if you own where you stayed. It feels like you own the food you tasted, and that's in the back of your mind as a fond memory, like a long lost love. And no doubt about it, with people going to things like the restaurant, they'll say, "Oh, do you remember?" You've got memories and trinkets and little knickknacks that you can look back with from, things like fridge magnets people put in the fridges. Everybody's got that little. You go to the fridge on a daily basis, and you have a little, just a glimpse and a reminder of a happy time you've been on. I heard on the radio there's a fridge magnet company that specialises in fridge magnets, and they analyse why fridge magnets are so popular, and it's because they are a keepsake for a happy time in life that you will regularly visit. Albeit very tiny, but it's like, oh yeah, I remember Mallorca, that was lovely. I remember that time we went and had this eat all you want ribs, and we totally unexpected, just piles of ribs coming that were just so fall apart tender that you couldn't possibly have eaten all of them. There were just so many, and that's stuck in my mind. And I'll tell you something else that I've done that's quite interesting. I think it's quite interesting. Everybody should make a list of memorable meals in their life, because I've started doing that, and it wasn't until I started doing that there was memorable meals that I'd forgotten about and gone, oh my gosh, I remember that one. And you can look back at that with great fondness and go, God, they were the best tasting grapes or watermelon I had. My taste of watermelon, my first ever taste of watermelon and grapes was in Cyprus when I was 10 years old. I flew over to Cyprus on my own to go and meet my auntie, and I remember landing in this extremely exotic looking place that I'd never been to before, 10 years old. And there was things that looked like pineapples growing out of the ground. They were basically palm trees of sorts, and the humidity was so, it's whatever that smell is, that's the name of that smell that comes from rain when it hits the tarmac. It hadn't rained, it was just that humid, and I could smell, I still remember that smell, the smell of the humid environment. And then being given these grapes to like this, they seem like this, and watermelon, my first ever taste of watermelon, the most refreshing sweetness I've tasted in a watermelon. It's like you can remember things that you're fond of that are described in your mind as like in a novel, in your own little novel in your head. And I'm going to keep writing that. And funnily enough, one of my most memorable food experiences, it's not just meals, food experiences, was on this boat. And it was a beautiful hot day, and I was on here with my friend Pat, and we got hold of some blue cheese, some biscuits, they were the crisp breads, spelled with a K, and some of this Canadian Club whiskey. It was just something I picked up. No particular combination of food was decided. It was just, right, grab that whiskey, we'll have a shot of whiskey while we're on the boat, and some blue cheese, crackers, and some onion chutney. And I tell you what, the warmth of the day had melted this blue cheese to like a warm melted butter consistency. And for those of you that like blue cheese, you'll know what I mean by that. We stuck it on this crisp bread, and we had a shot of this whiskey, which was just slightly warm, but crikey, did that. It tasted like vanilla ice cream. this whiskey and that blue cheese and crisp bread was just so good. Oh, somehow it just hit the spot. It's like the creator themselves came down and went, taste some of that, boys. Another one was in Thasos. I went with my friend Ian. We went on this yacht that this bloke built. I think it was one of the beginning little tastes of my love for boats. Because this boat was absolutely beautiful. His name was Zoe. And it was like a fishing boat, a massive thing it was. It was a big yacht. And we went, it was just me, my friend Ian, and the boat's owner and his son, which was the barman at the hotel we were with. And he took us to this remote little beach, this little cove that you can only get to by boat. And the beach was this pure white marble sand. I mean, it was white as paper, and it was glistening. There was like diamonds sitting in it, and the cicadas in this backdrop of this cove with this unfinished hotel sitting in the middle of it was there. The water was the classic turquoise green blue colour, and you could see the bottom of the water, or the bottom of the beach, whatever it's called, the sea bottom, and it was clear as anything, and the cicadas were deafening, and the motor got turned off, and we were just, so you can hear this plop plop slop slop noise. It was that with the cicadas going for ages. And he fired up this barbecue and he cooked up this thing called scubri. Never forget it. And thankfully we got it on video. And scubri is a member of the mackerel family. I found out just recently. I'm really pleased I managed to find it because I remember what it was called, scubri. Apparently it's like mackerel but slightly sort of meatier. I don't know. But it was, anyway, it was butterflied, sun-dried, and then barbecued with lemon juice. That's it. And he pulled out this white Greek wine. It was I suppose it was like I don't know, it was like port but white, and he put it in this bath of iced water from below deck. Pulled that up, and we're just sipping on that. And my friend and I weren't fish eaters then. I am now. I love it now. But at the time we weren't particularly into fish. But when he pulled this fish out and we started eating it, being polite, it was like, actually, this is quite nice. And it stuck. So that's in my list of memorable food experiences. Oh, crikey, I better go. Gotta get the boy.